everyone. My name is Brianna Ewing, the president of UMB, and today we are here with our very own Trinity Hart. Hi, Trinity. So, can you please just introduce yourself for those of the audience that don't know you?
Hi, my name is Trinity Hart. I am the media manager for UMB, and I recently graduated from Villanova University. So I have a Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry, and now I'm at Drexel College of Medicine. So I'm in a 5-year master's and MD program here at Drexel.
So, Trinity is the first person out of UMB to actually get accepted into medical school. So, we have to put her on a pedestal and give her credit for that. We are so excited for her. So today I'm just going to ask Trinity a couple of questions about, her journey and, just stuff like that. So Trinity, my first question to you is, what were some of like the pros and cons of your journey from freshman year to now, being that you had so much success?
Pros, I would definitely say being heavily involved on my campus was definitely a pro. So, in addition to my academics, I was involved in a lot of honor society clubs, which showed like medical schools that I was very interested in, like my passion for medicine outside of the classroom, also and in other spaces. And then I will also say extracurriculars is a big thing. So, I was also a Division 1 track and field athlete. I started track when I was little, so I just continued it throughout high school and college. So I feel like doing that and showing them that I'm a person outside of just academics was very important because when you're applying to med school, everyone's smart. There's people who have literally perfect GPAs, like 4.0s. There's people who have perfect MCAT scores. So you have to show them that you bring other things to the table. They're not looking for someone who can just be a student. They're looking for someone who can balance being a med school student and going through life because life is going to be obstacles and they don't want to see that as soon as challenges arise, as soon as struggles come, you're ready to throw in the towel because you're not used to anything outside of school. So it's very important that you show them that you are a person, you do things outside of just the classroom. And I feel like having track on there was just very powerful and it really showed them that I bring a lot of other things to the table and I have a lot of qualities that student athletes have as far as like balance, resilience. So I think that was a very important part. Cons, I would definitely say a con, maybe I would say would be like the pressure of getting into medical school right after undergrad. I feel like that took a huge toll on me because it was very expected that I would go straight through. And initially, I wasn't sure if I could even go straight through because I received like a lot of rejections. I applied to like 30 schools. So you're going to receive, a lot of rejections. And I only got 2 interviews from those 30. So it's like, oh, I just keep getting like rejected, rejected, rejected. So I'm like, oh, wow, like I'm probably not going to be able to matriculate this cycle. And I was kind of fine with that. But just like I felt the pressure from my peers and my family that that wasn't acceptable, that I have to come up with a backup plan, that I either have to do another master's program or I have to do something like taking a gap year, like wasn't seen as an option in my path. So I feel like that kind of pressure is definitely a con because there's nothing wrong with taking a gap year. Other people have their opinions, but it's what's best for you because when you're going straight through, you're going to experience a lot of burnout. You're going to experience a lot of stress because you just came from doing this. You only had the summer off. And for me, I was working as a medical assistant. So I really didn't even have the summer off. So I feel like that was definitely a huge con. But I'm at the end, I'm very glad that it all worked out because I honestly feel that Drexel is a perfect school for me. Coming straight from Villanova, it's literally only 30 minutes from Villanova. So I'm very familiar with the area. So I feel that everything worked out because some of the other schools I was applying to were literally like 8 hours away. And I honestly didn't want to go there, but I just said, whatever opportunity I'm given, I'll go for it. So I feel like, in spite of the cons of having to push straight through, it all did work out in the end because I'll be able to start my career even earlier. And this is a long path as far as, so my thing here at Drexel is going to be 5 years, then residency is probably another 2. And it's kind of just like you have to go to like a senior resident, senior attending. So it's going to be a long process. So I feel like starting now and starting early is definitely going to be beneficial for me. So it all worked out in the end. But I would say that that was the biggest con, just other people's expectations and letting those influence me.
I'm so proud of you. Oh my goodness. Just
Oh, thank you.
listening to you talk about this is just, it's really inspiring, truly. So another question that I have for you is like, you describe like your journey, like from freshman year to now, and like, how would you describe how you, because you mentioned like the pressure, how would you describe how you coped with it and dealt with it?
hmm I would say, just to start off with my journey, I was always interested in being a doctor. A lot of people, like other people in my program, they had no expectations of being a doctor, which I think is just crazy because the push to do everything is very hard. But a lot of them like wanted to do other things before they decided to turn to medicine. So mine was the complete opposite. Ever since I was little and I saw my pediatrician and she was a Black woman, I said, I want to be her. So ever since I was little, I said, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a doctor. And I think reminding myself of why I started was a very important part of my journey because those times when I did want to give up, when it was very stressful, when it was too hard, even just starting like the program now, I'm taking medical school level classes and it's completely different from what I was doing in undergrad. So it's very easy to get discouraged. But reminding myself why I started, like when I was a little girl and I was looking up to my pediatrician as another Black woman who was successful, it really keeps me going because I want another young Black female to look up to me that way. So I think that's very important. Remembering why you started. Also, another thing that I have to constantly remind myself is I've come too far to quit. I have overcome so much. I have just kept pushing through in spite of rejections, in spite of not getting the right guidance during my undergrad, in spite of feeling ostracized in the community, in spite of being like the only Black biochemistry major in my class. I've overcome too much to give up. So anytime I get stressed, I kind of just tell myself, okay, I just feel like this for the moment, but giving up is not an option because too many people have invested in me for me to give up. Too many people have really poured into me for me to just throw in the towel when it gets a little hard. So I feel like that's a big part of my journey. Just keep on pushing through because I'm focused on the end goal, not right now. Right now may seem like very hard, very stressful, but it'll all pay off when I'm in my profession, however many years from now, probably like 10 years from now. It's going to be
That's
wild.
okay. That's okay.
When I'm in my profession 10 years from now, and I'm doing something that I love, I'm impacting people's lives, I'm changing health disparities, like that will really show me that I achieved the goal that I've been pushing forward to. So I feel like that's a big part of my journey.
I love what you just said. Like, you really did come way too far to give up now. Like, I know, seriously, like, I think about that all the time. Like, when things really get hard, I'm like, I just did 4 years of undergrad and this hard science major. I cannot give up now because what did I do all that for? You know?
Mhm.
That's a really great point that you made. So, my final question that I have to ask you is if you could talk to your freshman year self, what advice would you give her?
Wow, my freshman year self. My freshman year self was a lot different than who I am now. So a lot of people see me and they say like, "Wow, you're so confident, you're so driven, you're so focused." But I feel like my freshman year self was not who I am today. I was very I knew I wanted to be a doctor like I said before, but I doubted myself a lot. I didn't feel like I was capable of even becoming a doctor, of finishing undergrad sometimes because it was just a lot thrown in my face at one time. The transition from high school to college was very hard for me. I was not used to it. And I kind of thought, okay, well, if I'm going to do this, I have to stay in the books 24/7. Like, I have to be in the library, do overnighters, like, be there all night. And I was just very burned out my freshman year because I was just trying to start off strong. My parents instilled in me that you have to start off strong for your GPA freshman year because once you like get a low GPA, it's really hard to catch up. So I had that in the back of my mind, like, okay, I got to do this. And I honestly did not take enough time to myself when it came to things like self care, which is very important. When it came to things like sleep, which is also very important. And it honestly started to affect my performance in the classroom, on the track. Even though I was putting in long hours, they were not useful hours. So I wasn't even scoring well in my exams. And then on the track, since I was tired, my body was sluggish, I was not performing well on the track. So I really had to come to the realization that school isn't everything. I have to take care of myself as a person first. And I feel like as I started moving into sophomore, junior, and senior year, I started putting myself first a lot more. So I would definitely, I started like setting timers to when I was going to be in the library, how long was it for. If I'm only going to be here for 3 to 4 hours, that's it. After that, I'm going back. I'm going to get some dinner. I'm going to go to sleep. And I feel like once I started prioritizing myself, everything just started to jump and improve. So I was doing way better on my exams, even though I was studying for less hours. The hours were more geared to what was on the exam. It was more purposeful hours. I started having more energy because I was getting more sleep. I started doing way better on the track. I started PRing. For anyone who doesn't know, it's like personal record in track. I started PRing and I'm like, wow, this is great. And I realized the only thing I changed was I started putting myself first. So I would talk to my freshman year self and I would tell her that self care is extremely important because how you feel inside and how your body can function impacts your entire performance. So I'm even taking that into now in medical school. I can see like a lot of people are already doing like all nighters in the library and just trying to grind it out. But I realized that that is not what can happen for me. Maybe other people can survive with all nighters, but me, I need my sleep. I need a balanced diet. I need to make sure I'm getting my fruits, my vegetables. I need to make sure I'm exercising. That is also a huge thing. Since I'm not doing track anymore, I still have to make time to stay active. And I have to make sure I'm just taking care of myself as a person. So then when I do study, my brain is fueled for the information that's coming in. So I feel like that is extremely important. And it's definitely been helping me since I've been here. I've already seen improvement from my first exam to my second exam. So I'm just really excited for the journey. And I wish my freshman year self knew that because she was very tired and she was not taking care of herself. But that's behind me now. And I'm just moving forward. And I'm really going to focus on myself in addition to myself as a student. Myself as a person is also just very important.
Well, Trinity, like I know, like I always say this all the time, but like I'm like, it's really for me, it's like it's just really amazing to know that like we have like we're peers, like we're peers, we're
Mhm.
friends,
Yes.
we're in this organization together. Like I really do like look up to you and like your whole entire journey. Like it's just nice to know that I have peers that I can look up to, or peers that I know that, you motivate me. Like if she can do it, I can do it. Like because it's hard. It's very,
Yes,
very hard.
definitely.
And honestly, listening to like everything that you just said from the beginning of this interview to now, like you really motivated me to keep going, keep pushing. Like, and especially as the first member of UMB to get accepted into medical school, like you're doing it. And for everybody in this organization or anybody who's going to watch this video, like they can take a lot of advice from you. And I just love like everything that you said. I'm so proud of
Oh,
you.
thank you.
So proud of you, Trinity. But okay, guys, there you have it. Trinity Hart, UMB's very own media manager, just got accepted into medical school and is on her way to become a doctor. So we thank you guys for tuning in and watching, and we'll see you next month.
Bye.